My double game week 28 team selection. What is up everyone, how's it going? Hope you're keeping well and welcome back to another video on my YouTube channel. In today's video we're going to look at my current team selection ahead of tomorrow's deadline, and we'll also be chatting about my updated chip strategy and how I'm going to navigate through the next couple of game weeks and what's going to be a crucial part of the season. Don't forget to hit that like button below and let's hit a like goal of 80 likes on this video. And if you are watching this video and you're not subscribed, please do hit that subscribe button below. I'm on the road to 5.5k subs, so if you haven't done so already, hop on down there, click subscribe and support the channel. Stick around also towards the end of the video where I'll be heading to a pitch in County Roscommon for my weekly captaincy pick video. Right then, that's the intro out of the way, let's get into the video. Let's jump in straight away and I'll start off with my current chip strategy, and at the moment I'm looking to wildcard in Game Week 31, free hit in Game Week 34, which is going to be a small blank game week and a small double game week also, and then I'll be looking to bench boost in Game Week 37, what's going to be the biggest double game week of the season in what could be 10 to 12 teams potentially having a double game week. So that's how my current chip strategy is looking like at the moment. I must note that I'm not 100% locked into this strategy, but I am leaning very favourably towards these three usages of my chips. As every good FPL manager knows, we need to have the ability to react if some certain scenarios fall out of our favour. So for example, if I get a few more injuries in my team in the lead up to the blank game week next week, I may be forced into using my free hit next week. I'll chat about how I'm going to navigate through the blank game week later on in the video, but for now, that's what my current chip strategy is looking like. You, the viewer, could have a different team to mine or a completely different chip strategy in mind, and that's completely fine. You might have only a couple of players for the blank game week next week, so that could force you into using your free hit. Or you might have a couple of injuries in the lead up to tomorrow's deadline, and that could force you into using your wildcard ahead of tomorrow's deadline. If you are using your wildcard, you might be looking to stock up on Luton and Bournemouth players ahead of their double game week, then building a team to get through blank game week 29, and then work on from there, getting Salah back into your team, getting Son, getting a few Arsenal players and City players ahead of their nice fixture run. As I said, I'm not 100% locked in on this chip strategy. There could be some new information, or we might get some more injuries to the players in my team in the lead up to the blank game week next week. And if I do get some more injuries, that could force me into using my free hit chip next week and alter my chip strategy altogether. The main purpose of this segment was just to let you know not to be stubborn with your team. It's all well and good having a chip strategy, that's completely fine, but if there's some new information or different scenarios with different outcomes that come available, and it means you need to alter your chip strategy, make sure you have the ability to be reactive and do what's best for your team. Right then, that's the chip strategy out of the way. Let's get back towards planning ahead before tomorrow's deadline. And starting off with defence, we've got Areola in goals with that home fixture against Burnley. A nice fixture for Areola. He's just off the back of getting that 13-point haul away to Everton last week. Of course, he did get that penalty save and picked up all 3 bonus points. All I'm asking for is a clean sheet. I'm not asking for a double-digit haul, but fingers crossed he can get that clean sheet at home to Burnley. Moving on to the back three, it looks okay. The standout obviously is the Arsenal double defence. That's all well and good. They've been in great form over the last couple of weeks. 3 clean sheets in their last 4, so fingers crossed Gabriel and Saliba can make it 4 clean sheets in 5 with their home fixture against Brentford. Completing my 3-man defence is Purvis Estepinian. He's in the team for now, but I don't think he'll stay there before the deadline. We all know he's been very frustrating and very disappointing to own over the last couple of weeks. Blank after blank after blank. And then when he gets a start, he even draws a blank, picking up a yellow card and conceding 3 away to Fulham last week. We've got double gaming players on my mind. We've got Bournemouth defenders and Luton defenders looking likely to come into the team this week. But we'll chat about that later on in the video. Right then, that's the defence for now. Let's move on to the midfield. Moving on to the midfield, it's not looking too bad in our 4-man midfield. Just that one small issue with Kevin De Bruyne in that midfield spot. 4 blanks in his last 4 games since I brought him into the team, so he definitely hasn't lived up to the hype. Brought him in for the double game week with the hopes he could come away with a nice differential haul. Wasn't to be, and then even for the Bournemouth game he didn't start. Then came on, picked up a stupid 96-minute yellow card after kicking the ball away, so 0-point return there. He's a bit like Estepinian really, yeah. And then even last week then against Man United, 3 goals scored by City. No involvement, so I think it's about time De Bruyne leaves the team. We'll chat about my options later on in the video. But then looking outside De Bruyne, we're looking good. Foden's in great form at the moment against Liverpool. I know it's in Anfield, but I am expecting City to score a few. Saka, he did come off with an illness in that game on Monday night against Sheffield United, but I am expecting him to be fine. Brentford at home then as well this weekend. Brentford are pretty leaky in the fence at the moment, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Saka get a few returns at the weekend if he is fine, and I do expect him to be fine then also. Cole Palmer finishes off the midfield then. He got his late assist last weekend against Brentford for the Assis goal. Up against Newcastle at home this weekend. Newcastle have a few injuries in defence, so I'm expecting Chelsea to get on the score sheet anyway, and hopefully it is Palmer that is involved. That's my midfield then. De Bruyne probably looking like he's going to be on the chopping block, but we'll chat about that later. Let's move on to the strikers. Moving on to the strikers, Dominic Solanke is the only double game week player I have in the team currently. He's up against Sheffield United and Luton at home, so really nice fixtures for Bournemouth over the double game week this week. Flashback to that Burnley game at the weekend when Bournemouth were playing them, and just after the game, Solanke was being interviewed by a reporter, and the reporter asked him, would he be fine for the double game week? Solanke confirmed he was, so big shout out to that reporter. He was definitely looking out for us FPL managers, and thankfully Solanke will be fine for this week. Ollie Watkins and Erling Haaland complete my starting 11 for now. Watkins obviously in mighty form at the moment, 5 goals and 1 assist in his last 3 games. He's got 2 double-digit hauls in his last 3. Could have been 3 and 3 as he just missed out in the bonus points 2 weeks ago against Nottingham Forest. Also the added bonus of him playing in blank game week 29, so he won't be leaving my team anytime soon. Erling Haaland is another man in decent form with 2 goals and 1 assist in his last 3 games, so that's a return of game over his last 3. He is up against Liverpool at Anfield this weekend. I think it's going to be a close encounter at Anfield, especially in a game that could decide the title at the end of the season. So yeah, that's how I'm currently shaping up at the moment. 135k overall. I do have got 2 free transfers to use. I don't think I mentioned that, but yeah, 2 free transfers to use. I have been in bad form as of late. 2 red arrows in the last 2 weeks, so hopefully with the use of 2 free transfers, it can get me that green arrow and get me close to that top 100k spot. Let's move on now and start planning ahead for tomorrow's deadline. Looking at the clean sheet odds ahead of the weekend's games, Bournemouth top the charts with a 62% chance of keeping at least 1 clean sheet over the double game week. And with fixtures against Sheffield United and Luton both at home, I wouldn't be surprised to see Bournemouth keeping at least 1 clean sheet over the double. Looking at the clean sheet odds in relation to my own team, it's good viewing with my Arsenal double defence ranking second, with Arsenal having a 50% chance of keeping a clean sheet at home to Brentford. Gabriel and Saliba have been very good to me for returns over the last couple of weeks. As I said earlier, keeping 3 clean sheets in their last 4 games, so fingers crossed they can make it 4 clean sheets out of 5. Outside of my Arsenal double defence, it's decent viewing with Areola ranking 4rd for the chance of a clean sheet with a 39% chance against Burnley at home this weekend. He did get that 13-point haul last weekend. I'm not hoping for that. I'm not asking for that, Areola. All I want is a clean sheet, so fingers crossed you can get that and maybe a few save points to add to that also. What is surprising though is Luton rank 11th for the chance of keeping at least 1 clean sheet this weekend. Away to Palace in the first game and then away to Bournemouth. I don't think they'll get the clean sheet away to Bournemouth, but they might get something away to Palace. If they don't, Doughty can always get an attack in return, but it is surprising to see Luton rank 11th with a lot of managers bringing in Kaminsky and Doughty this weekend. A quick look at predicted points this weekend. There's no surprise to see it heavily concentrated on double game week players, with Bournemouth and Luton players all in the top 10 this weekend. Solanke tops the charts with a predicted point score of 9.7 points, so he's the clear favourite for a massive haul this weekend. Fingers crossed he does get it, and if you do have your triple captaincy chip available, then he could be a shout for the triple captaincy this weekend. Let's move on now and have a look at my transfer plans ahead of tomorrow's deadline. Looking at my transfer plans ahead of the double game week this weekend, I have got 2 free transfers to use. So my first free transfer would be looking to take out Estepinian and bringing in Doughty with that double game week for Luton. Doughty has been in decent form on the attacking front this season with 1 goal and 8 assists all season. So even though Luton haven't got a great chance of keeping a clean sheet, as we spoke about there, there's always a chance Doughty can get an attacking return, and hopefully he does this weekend. With my second free transfer, I'll be looking to take out Kevin De Bruyne and bringing in Heung-min Son. Spurs are up against Aston Villa this weekend, so that could be a fairly difficult task for Spurs, but I am expecting them to get on the score sheet. A lot of injuries for Spurs and Villa on the defensive front, so I'm expecting there to be goals in that game this weekend. And with Son playing through the centre up front for Spurs, there's always a chance he can get on the score sheet. I probably should have done this transfer last week when I was considering doing it, and with Son get on the score sheet against Crystal Palace at the weekend, I was pretty annoyed. And then for Kevin De Bruyne at the blank, it topped it off there. So 5 points lost by not making this transfer last week. And yeah, hopefully Son can get on the score sheet, or at least amongst the returns this weekend, and Kevin De Bruyne can stay quiet at Anfield. So that'll be my 2 free transfers, and then for a hit, I'm potentially looking at taking out Erling Haaland and bringing in Carlton Morris with that double game week for Luton. It is a pretty crazy transfer, but there is method to the madness, as Haaland is up against Liverpool this weekend. It is a fixture Haaland could score in, but as I said, I am expecting to be a close encounter at Anfield. And then with the fact if I do bring in Morris, he does have 2 fixtures this week, and then he additionally plays in the blank game week in game week 29. So I'll be getting an additional 2 fixtures as I'm looking to save my free hit in game week 29. So 3 fixtures for Morris, 1 fixture for Haaland, and additional 2 fixtures by doing this transfer this week. And the good thing then about bringing in Morris, Son and Doughty is they all play in game week 29, so I'm working my team towards building it up for game week 29 and trying to save the free hit. Let's move on now and have a look at who I'm looking to captain ahead of tomorrow's deadline. Solanke for the Ironman. Yeah, with that double gaming for Solanke this weekend, there's no surprise to say I'm giving the armband. 2 home fixtures for Bournemouth against Sheffield United and Luton. So I'm expecting to get at least 2 returns from Solanke. So if you do have the triple captaincy chip still available, I'd recommend you to give it the armband this week with a triple captaincy chip. That's how I'm shaping up. It does look a lot better with 2 additional double gaming players in Carlton Morris and Doughty in defence, even though I am taking out Haaland. But there is method to the madness, as I did say, as I get those additional 2 fixtures for Morris, with me not planning to use my free hit next weekend. That's how I'm shaping up so ahead of tomorrow's deadline. Let's move on now and have a look at how I'm going to navigate through the blank game week next week without a free hit. So looking ahead to the blank game week then, in game week 29, with the 3 transfers I'm using then this week, that will bring me up to 7 players for the blank game week, although I am relying on Pedro Porro to be back to full fitness and be in contention to start that Fulham game in game week 29. And then from 7 players, I can take a -4 by doing 2 transfers, and then that'll get me up to 9 players. I would stress that I'd focus on getting attacking players over defenders, as I can't see too many clean sheets with those fixtures in game week 29. The good thing about the 7 players, or the majority of the 7 players that I currently own, they're going to be very popular with FPL managers who are looking to free hit next week. So for example, Ollie Watkins, I already own him. He's going to be in pretty much every FPL manager's team who are free hitting next week. Youngmin Son as well, up against Fulham. Doughty and Morris, a very nice fixture at home to Nottingham Forest. So these are all players who are going to be popular, but I already own them, so I'll be covered if I'm not using my free hit. Pedro Porro then, fingers crossed, he is back to full fitness, because if he is fit, I think a lot of managers will be hopping on him to get some Spurs defensive cover with that fixture against Fulham. So I'll be covered with 4 players, potentially 5 if Porro is back from injury. And then with 2 transfers, 1 free transfer and then the other for -4, I can look at bringing in Tony to cover me for that Burnley game, and then bringing in Jared Bowen, as Bowen will be a popular pick amongst FPL managers who are free hitting next week. 9 players then, that'll leave me, if Pedro Porro is fit, 8 if he isn't, but hopefully 9 if he is fit, and fingers crossed there aren't any more injuries. But I'll be happy enough going into game week 29 with 9 players, and then hopefully save me free hit for later on in the rest of the season. So that's how I'm currently looking ahead of tomorrow's deadline, and that's all to my brief transfer plans ahead of the blank game week in game week 29. As I said, I'm not 100% locked into my chip strategy, so if there are a few injuries in game week 28, I may be forced into using my free hit in game week 29. But for now, I'm looking to save it. If you've made it to the end of this video, please give it a like, drop a comment below, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let's hit a like goal of 80 likes on this video. If you are still watching this video and you're not subscribed, please do hit that subscribe button below. I'm currently on the road to 5.5k subs, so really appreciate it. If you aren't subbed already, hop down there, click subscribe, and help me on my way to get there. I'll see you all on Saturday morning for a deadline stream where I'll be locking my team ahead of the game week 28 deadline. Thanks for watching, best of luck for the week, I'll see you in the next video.